Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast. My name is Jonathan, and today is day 412 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. If this is your first time checking out my broadcast, a little bit about me. I'm 39 years old, making a mess in my office. I'm 39 years old, married. We have 4 children, and I've been overweight my whole life. In 2020, it had gotten to a point where I was over 500 pounds, and I knew I needed to do something. And so I created this challenge. When I created this challenge, I had 2 main goals in mind, and that was to stick with something longer than I've ever stuck with anything before. And that's why I chose to challenge myself to do this for 3 years. And then the other big part was to lose more weight than I've ever tried to get myself to lose, or tried to get to a lower weight than I've ever tried to get to. And that's why I set my goal to get under 220 pounds. So far things have been going great. I started off the challenge with a 30-day water fast, or what I intended to be a 30-day water fast. Things were going really good during that fast, and I actually pushed it and extended it to a 42-ish day. It was 1,000 hours that I water fasted, and lost 90 pounds in that first 42 days. Then I switched to a whole food plant-based diet, and since then have lost an additional 90 pounds, eating a whole food plant-based diet with no added salt, oil, or sugar. The last 3 or 4 months have been a little bit rocky or bumpy, I guess you could say. I had torn my distal bicep tendon, which is the tendon on the lower part of your bicep that connects it to your forearm. So I've been rehabbing that, but I'm happy that I have been able to kind of maintain my weight in this area or catch myself. A lot of times in the past, something like that injury happens, and it's an easy excuse to let things start to slip. And I could see myself being well above 350 pounds at this point if I had not continued to focus on my diet and have this challenge and have kind of the accountability of everything. Um, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do get subscribed to the channel. Click on that bell icon so you'll get alerted when I go live, which is generally at about 4 p.m. on weekdays. Almost every weekday. I was not live yesterday, so my last time live was weigh-in Wednesday, where I did have a little bit over a pound loss since the last week, which is great to kind of see the weight go down. I've had 2 weeks in a row where I've been getting the weight to trend in a downward path. The first of the last 2 weeks was great. I was on diet 100%, didn't have any issues. This past week, we had one kind of snack or meal that was off. My meals were all on, but I did have some snacks that were off diet. We had some sugar in them. And then this week I've been on top of it again. I feel great. I will be eating something tomorrow that is probably off diet, but I'll get to that a little bit later. I'm not sure what it's going to be at this point, but if let's see. So I already talked about doing the subscribe thing. Since Wednesday, I wasn't live yesterday because I had a really busy day set up yesterday. The morning was actually busier than I intended it to be. I ended up being on my feet pretty much all day yesterday. I had a 10:15 appointment with the DMV, essentially, to get some things done. And when I got there and we got some of the things done or worked on, then they revealed to me that their credit card machine was not working, and I did not have the cash, and the fees. I wasn't able to get the money out of an ATM, so I had to go back to the office and get some checks, and then go back and then spend about an hour dealing with some titling things for my work. Carrie saying happy Friday to you too, Carrie. I hope you're having a great day today. So I ended up spending my whole morning on my feet, which wasn't intended. I thought that I would be done much quicker. with that than I was. And then I've mentioned it in the past, but me and Carrie have a nonprofit that we work that is a diaper bank. And what a diaper bank is, or generally what a diaper bank does, is we collect diapers from the community either through diaper drives, or we get funds and we purchase diapers at a large quantity because we can get them cheaper than uh, if you buy them, in individual boxes sometimes. But then we are able to distribute those diapers out to the community. Since this COVID kind of stuff has happened, we've done we did lots of diaper distributions last year and a couple this year where we set up at a uh, facility or a location within our community, and people come and we give them diapers, 50 diapers per kid. And yesterday we had a diaper distribution for a few hours. Was on my feet the whole time, very busy. It was nice to have that weight off of me. Every time we do one of these now, I feel so good, because when we did a lot of these in 2020, I was over 500 pounds at every one of them. And so I was always trying to find a way to uh, like not be in a position where I was walking around a lot, but also to be involved as well. And yesterday I ended up being, much more involved, or as involved as I've been in the past, more involved than I might have been in a few times previously. But it was great to give out the diapers. It's always good to be making sure that these kids have clean diapers, because in some of these cases they the parents are struggling and they're trying to find ways to get diapers for these kids, and hopefully there's a lot of babies that have dry diapers over Christmas this year because of us. So we did that yesterday. And just because we didn't have enough going on after all of that got done, um, we did so Carrie says definitely good for the heart. Yes, it is great to see just the appreciation on so many of the people's faces. You get a wide spectrum of responses, but there's a lot of appreciation um when we're giving out those diapers. Then in the evening yesterday, we, with my son's Cub Scout troop, we went caroling through the neighborhoods around the local elementary school last night. So all in all, I was on my feet all day, and I should have paid attention, or should have thought to connect to my Garmin watch and have it tell me exactly how many steps I did do. So maybe I'll do that and it'll update while I'm rambling here the rest of the time. But yeah, we were on our feet moving around a lot. I think that we probably covered so the last time we caroled was probably 2019, and it was a great experience. Um and the kids had a lot of fun back in 2019. So we were looking forward to doing it last night. I'm pretty sure we had a bigger group last night than we had in the past. And, um, caroling's not anything that I ever did growing up. I'm not sure if Carrie did or not, but it was something that we got an opportunity to do it with the Cub Scout troop, like I said, in 2019, and then again this year. And it was just really fun to go and carol at the houses. And there was a lot of houses that we could have caroled at, and we kind of picked a path or picked a direction and then decided to just knock on the doors of people that had Christmas lights up, because it seemed like, they would be in the most Christmas spirit. Everybody that came out was extremely nice and happy. There was a few times where like one time, yeah, just kind of situations get tough, or it gets confusing, especially when you have a herd of children. Like that was probably the most difficult part of the whole thing, was not only trying to do the caroling, but also uh 30 kids, probably 20 plus kids running around trying to rent. I bet it was at least 30 kids. That's crazy to think about how many kids it probably was. And we're just kind of this mob walking through down the street, and the cars probably didn't know what was going on. But it was great to do that. And I know that in 2019, when we did that, it probably nearly killed me just from the walking and being on my feet. Um, and bearing through it. I didn't have to worry about it this time. The only thing I did have was that, of all days for me to get new shoes and to start wearing my new shoes, was yesterday. So, of course, I had some pains associated with getting used to the new shoes. They are a barefoot shoe like the ones I've gotten for the past couple pairs, but um they're by a company called Vivo. I'll show you the and these are the Primus Trails. They're supposed to be all weather. Um I'm hoping that they're waterproof. They feel pretty waterproof. And they are the tread on them is as good a tread as any of the barefoot shoes. It's probably almost too thick as far as the the feel of the ground. But the big thing for me with these shoes was that they were all weather, or I wasn't going to have to worry too much about going out in the snow and stepping in puddles and getting wet socks. So I'm hoping that that holds up with these. They're a little goofy because they're like future, not future, but they're ergonomic and things like that. And like the tongue is not cut symmetric. It's got like a flap that's longer towards the outside of your feet. And they're just a little bit different. I don't know if Carrie has very similar ones. I don't know if hers are the same way or not with the tongue, but it's goofy with these. And then not only did I wear these, but I also have a pair that I recently got that are snow boots that, because it was cold out last night, I thought I would try the snow boots on while I was walking around the neighborhood. So I actually tried on two different pairs of shoes yesterday throughout the day, and it it was good. So yesterday my steps were 15,227, which was twice of what my goal was. I think the day prior, it looks like on Wednesday, December 15th, I had 6,000 steps. Um, and so, yeah, I more than doubled my steps yesterday because of all the walking that we did and everything that we were, with everything I was dealing with throughout the day. So, um, and then really the couple days prior, I didn't have very many steps at all, 3 or 4,000. So, um, two new shoes in one day. Yes, I actually had the other pair that I bought them a few weeks ago. Um, and I'm kind of planning on using those as like snow boots or playing out in the snow with the kids. So hopefully those last a long time. And then I'll wear these daily for now. I really did like, or I do like, the old shoes I have, but the old shoes were not vegan friendly. Um, and these shoes are. And I've made a few consumer choices over the past few months with that in mind. And so that's the unfortunate thing with those shoes, is that I I don't think I'll be buying them again soon, at least not at this point. So, but I like the feel of these. The toe box is good. I did have to order them in a much larger size than I normally wear. I wear like an 11 and 11 and a half. And because of inventory, well, I had ordered some 11s and they were too tight. And actually, Carrie has those now because they were so small. that Carrie's been wearing those. And then I ordered these. These are actually 12 and a half, and they feel pretty good. If they were that half size smaller, I think they might be too tight. So I'm happy that I did get them bigger. So if you are interested in buying uh that type of shoe or the Vivos, you might want to buy up a size. Carrie says that she's super excited about all the all weather shoes. And then also we got the same ones for our kid. He'll be able to jump into so many puddles. Yes, jump into a bunch of muddy puddles. Yeah, it's no fun getting your feet really wet. And in fact, the last time I wore my um shoes, my Zero, they're from a company called Zero shoes, my feet got soaked because of the rain. The glue on the sides of the shoe was giving out. Really, the soles themselves and the top side of the shoes seemed to have some life in them, but it was mostly the glue that gave out. Um, and so I might try to rehab them actually, now that I think about it. But anyways, um, they got soaked. My socks got soaked. My feet stunk all afternoon. I don't know why I had to get them all wet, but I was outside dealing with something. Oh, I sold something at work that I had to be outside in the rain. That's I remember now. Anyways, so yeah, since Wednesday, I had a busy day yesterday. Harry says we need to find them in the twin sizes now. Yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to read that book that my brother was talking about, Born to Run, because we have now both kind of are switching our shoes to these, and I'd really like it if my son switched to this type of shoe, just because he's had kind of a weird stance and walk, anyways. And I think that the shoes probably have made a difference in that. Um, but yeah, I'm interested to read that Born to Run book. I'm gonna have to pay attention when we get our Amazon credit again and snag it and buy that Born to Run book. Um, yeah, it was just crazy. Let's see. So today, diet wise, since Wednesday, I've been on diet. I probably even ate a little less food than I normally eat, or the yesterday evening we had chickpea tikka masala. Ended up really getting Carrie says already used it. Already used it. Um but the chickpea tikka masala last night was great. I don't remember what we had for dinner the night before on Wednesday. I'm sure it was delicious. Um It might have been pasta dish. I think we had a pasta dish that had a cashew sauce on it that was something that Carrie wished she would have put. Oh, you already used the Audible credit. What'd you buy? I didn't know. I got to put an alert on my phone. I didn't know it was even coming up. Um, the Yeah, the dish we had the other day that had us. It was a pasta dish with a kind of a creamy. I believe it was like a cashew sauce. Hey Joe, what's going on? I hope you're having a great day, Joe. We had big salad. I think that was Tuesday. Pasta, another, yeah. Anyways, that was really good pasta. It might have been a pasta dish we had before, but could have used some spinach in it, give a little texture to the dish itself. This weekend coming up, I hope you guys have a good weekend coming up. I'm excited because it is Carrie's birthday this weekend. Tomorrow is Carrie's birthday, and it's crazy to think how much different a position we are this year than we were, a year ago on Carrie's birthday. We were just getting into this thing. Joe says he's down 7 pounds, lots of salads. That's awesome, Joe. Joe was sending me a text last week, or earlier this week, Monday, saying he had to get back on track. So I'm hoping things are going good for you, Joe. You just got to cut that meat out. We've had that conversation. I'll get you to watch Game Changers eventually, and then you'll change your mind. Um, but yeah, we got Carrie's birthday this weekend, and it's just wild the different position that we're in this year versus a year ago, and the mentality that we have now versus a year ago. And not that we had any negative mentality or that there was anything wrong, but um, just with our health, it's, you try to get excited, or you try to um try to think of, so when a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago, we would talk about the future, and we would be very excited about the things that we'd like to see. Our kids get older, get married, have grandkids, and so many of those things are great, and they're what you strive for. I mean, that was from the time we met, or like that was we wanted to get old together. And so much of it, really, in hindsight now, where I'm sitting now, looking back, was a lot of wishful thinking and a lot of lip service, as if, maybe to invoke that thought or that memory where, if I talk about seeing my grandkids, or then I can have that kind of experience of that mentally. But in reality, it wasn't going to happen. And it may have happened, but I don't know, because like I was trying to think of it, and like I'm 40 years old, and or 39, and I was 500 plus pounds. And I'm curious as to how many people who are, who were 20 years ago, that were 500 plus pounds, how many of those people made it to 60? There might be some 60-year-olds now that are over 500 pounds, but were they 500 pounds when they were 40, or were they 300 pounds or 250 and then got up to there, and, but just the difference in when we talk, or when I think about the future, I actually realize that it's so much more plausible. Um, and the Carrie's, a year older, and she may not have had a stroke or a heart attack or those things, but she was close to, like just like I was close to those things. And for us to go through this change together for the last year has been just incredible. And the photo I had up, I can't really, of us here, just the difference from a year ago to last September, and how much better our lives are, and how much better our futures are. Like we didn't just improve our lives right now, we improved our future, which is uh crazy, because there's nothing you can do about the past, and you can always dream about having a great future, but unless we put the, feet to pavement and got things done, um that was, our future was bleak. uh and now it's, I don't doubt that we're going to make it 80 years. I don't doubt that we're going to be married till we're 100, like, and I would have said I didn't doubt it in the past, maybe, but it was never really true. And then Um, Carrie says, yes, we're going to be present for those futures now. Yeah. We're going to, and, another thing I've said too is that, I've taken an end of life crisis and turned it into a midlife crisis. The issues I was having with my legs, maybe some of the respiratory issues I was having, uh, chest pains here and there, probably weren't as normal as a normal 39-year-old person should have. Um, and so uh, with these changes, we're gonna have a future together, and I'm looking forward to the future that I'm gonna have with Carrie and the the promotion of health, not just in our lives, but in our children's lives too. You know, I mean, the foods that I was bringing into the house were not helpful to our kids. Even if you don't agree with the diet that we have our kids on now, the diet that we were exposing our children to previously was far worse than anything we could possibly be doing now. You know, the number of times that I would come home with, bags of candy and snacks and corn dogs from the gas station and crap like that, it's it's done just an amazing like from the time of Carrie's birthday last year to now, I mean, that's just an incredible amount of difference has happened in our lives. And I am happy for every part of it. And I'm extremely grateful for all the effort that Carrie puts forward for me and our kids and everything to make things happen. Um, and so I'm excited this weekend for her birthday so we can make her breakfast pancakes or vegan birthday pancakes now, right? We got a special recipe for that. And then maybe we'll have some pizza or something tomorrow afternoon for for Carrie's birthday. So um but yeah, that's kind of the only big plans I have for this weekend. And then Carrie also has filled her weekend up with other stuff other than just the birthday. So I'm sure I'll be watching the kids a lot. I'm hoping to figure out how to balance having something like pizza this weekend for Carrie's birthday and losing weight. It's something that I was able to do it last week. Had I not had those snacks, I probably would have lost another half pound or a pound, like if calories actually equate exactly how calorie, you know what I mean? Like, uh, and so, um, I think that, and I actually really felt good kind of skipping that breakfast and having kind of taking a meal break. And so maybe I'll try to find an opportunity to do that again next week, and, uh, just, instead, because like I said prior to last week, when I'd been adding these things in when we went out to eat or when we had something that was off diet, I wasn't really accounting for the additional calories. I was just allowing that to be a meal. And I need to account for those additional calories when I am eating either a previous meal or a latter meal. And it's tough to do. It's really tough to do. I mean, that's part of the whole pleasure trap thing, like, we're designed to eat as much food as possible with the lowest effort possible, and we strive for the highest calorie items. And that's it's instinctual. It's not anything that's wrong with any of us. It's just what we're designed to do. It's because, maybe our grandparents didn't have to or their grandparents didn't have to, but 10 generations ago, your grandparents didn't have it that easy. It wasn't like there were fields of crops for them to just go grab food from. Famine and starvation is part of the history of our civilization, and it hasn't been until the past 100 years that we've been able to crack the code and we've had this huge burst in agriculture and we have this access to this excess of food. And our bodies just aren't designed to handle it. They try though. I mean, my body has done a wonderful job processing the calories that I put through it because it stored them on my body. Like I've said that for years, is that my body is incredible storage facility. Like it knows how to take that fat and to put it right on my butt, and or my hips or my belly. And Uh, it's just with and it's so tough because we derive pleasure from every meal, and that's not the point of meals. That wasn't the point of meals for thousands of years. It was the point of meals was nourishment, and we've tried to kind of push that to our kids. They have such a hard time because we're just overloaded with choice, and we have the ability to sprinkle sugar on stuff and sprinkle salt on it and give it these hyper palatable flavors that cause you to eat more than you would normally eat. And if you do that, if you put salt on broccoli to overeat broccoli, then that's maybe not so bad. But when you're putting it on fried chips or fried French fries, uh, you're just making a very high calorie item more palatable. So instead of being able to eat a pound of French fries, you can eat a pound and a half of French fries. And that isn't good for the body. And also, I the taking a break, I think the body needs that break. I talk about the way I used to eat was like being in a race car and just having the foot on the throttle the whole time. And I never gave the engine of my body a chance to settle down, never, had a chance, never stopped at a pit stop and let the wheels change, like it was just constant, just go, go, go. From the time I woke up, food into my throat to the time I went to sleep. And um our body needs a break from digestion a little bit. It doesn't have to be big breaks, it doesn't have to be day long or week long breaks, but the breaks I'm doing with my diet, eating twice a day, I think are really good. And then skipping a breakfast and doing like a 20-hour fast once a week, I think is going to be beneficial for me. I think it's going to, um, sort of like catching up on sleep, like by not eating, I'm allowing my body to catch up on what it needs to do instead of digesting food, because it spent a lot of energy digesting food and not a lot of energy doing other things. So I think that is going to be it for me today. I appreciate all you guys checking out my videos. Carrie and Joe for being in chat today. Uh, like I said, I'm looking forward to the weekend. It's going to be a celebration of the greatest person on earth. So that's always good. Um, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do get subscribed. Click on that bell icon, turn on notifications so you get alerted when I go live, which is generally 4 p.m. on weekdays. I have a Discord that you can join. There's a link down in the description that be active for 1 week. And then also, we have a Pinterest where Carrie shared a lot of the recipes that we have tried or that we have as part of our regular routine. That if you are interested in eating this way, I would suggest taking a look at that. There's 1,000 resources out in the world where you can find different meals and different plans. But these are kind of just the ones that we found have worked for us. And not everything is perfect either with all those recipes. Everybody's got a little bit different palates. And so somebody might like to have one jalapeno in the dish. You might like to have two jalapenos, or maybe throw the jalapenos out and put Rotel tomatoes in, have fun with these recipes and find out what works for you. Um, but anyways, you guys have a great weekend. If you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's no event that's coming up that's more important than getting your health taken care of. If you started right now, you would have a whole week in before you had Christmas. And, you can use that as a motivation to kind of get you through the holiday season. Um, and, and if you're really big like I was, I know it's tough going into the holidays. You go to these events and you don't want to eat too much, but then you also, maybe you want to be on your diet, but you don't want to tell people you're on diet because then they're going to have some sort of expectation for you to succeed because maybe you did in the past, or maybe, they're rooting for you, sometimes, and you feel like you're letting them down. But just do your best during the holiday season. Try to limit that calorie intake, and if you can abstain from some things, do it. I always have said, put a bracket on when you're eating. It's an easy thing to do. If you say, I'm not going to eat after 7 p.m., if you're at a holiday party and somebody has something, and maybe I stopped eating at 7, like, just it's an easy excuse. You can say, I ate a ton. I ate 45 McDonald's cheeseburgers before 7, but I'm not eating after 7. If they don't understand, then, tell them you'll take it to go and you'll eat it tomorrow and then throw it in the bin, anyways, get started on your diet right now. Don't wait. All right. And let me know how you're doing down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Also, wish Carrie a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Carrie. So you guys all have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday.